Good evening, young Padawans and Padawans, and welcome once again to your Monday night. It is I, the Redneck Jedi. Yeah, I gave myself that name. But we are here tonight for an episode of Two Ewoks in the Park. It is myself and, of course, the geek, Mr. Sully, as well. Tonight we are reviewing episode 2 of Bad Batch. If I remember correctly, it is Cut and Run, I think. We just said it a few minutes ago and I forgot already. But that's okay. Do me a favor, grab your favorite adult beverage or whatever it is you want to drink, something to snack on. Sit back in that nice, cozy beanbag chair and enjoy the ride. Sully, it's all yours.
Oh, I thank you. And for some reason, the intro didn't work, so I'll have to, edit that in later. Oh, of course, I think my entire Elgato Stream Deck just crashed on me as well. So yay to that.
Well, that's not good.
So I'm like, all right, let's get her started here and let's see what's going on. And let me just, let me see if it worked. There, yep, see, there it is. It works now. Yay! So we'll have to get the intro edited in later because, well, I can do that.
And that's such a good thing that you can do that. You could do it quickly, just, boom, like that, and it's done, and it's not even a problem.
Make it work, make it sound good, and all that good stuff, That's how I roll. Like JT said, we are talking about the Bad Batch Season 3, Episode 2, which means right now, spoiler alert, folks.
Yes.
Spoilers
in effect.
Oh, from now until the end of the show. And
yes.
Boy, let me tell you, the details of the Bad Batch and the mythology of Star Wars.
Well, and but that's something that we've been talking about over the last several shows that we've reviewed.
Yes.
Is how much they have improved on their detail work.
Yeah.
Over, from Mandalorian 1, the original series of Mandalorian all the way through now, because I think Mandalorian was the first one we did.
Yes.
And all the way up to now, and we have seen their attention to detail, and they're getting those details into the shows has multiplied 1,000 times.
Oh, without a doubt.
But it's nice to see, we're getting the information that normally we wouldn't get unless you're somebody like you who, has been immersed neck deep in this stuff from the beginning.
Listen, I don't know what you're talking about here. Okay. I'm just a guy trying to make it through the multiverse here.
Right.
It's all I'm trying to do, whether you like it or not, people.
It's crazy because we got the multiverse in Marvel and we got the multiverse in Star Wars.
Well,
could you imagine?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, if you think about it, because Disney owns Lucasfilm and they own Marvel, and all the Star Wars comics are now under Marvel again. Yeah, it could happen.
That would be, both of our minds would explode. They would both explode at one time. Your brain matter and my brain matter would mix, and then we would pull a Barney and go, return to me. But we would still be mixed up, and then we would both be geniuses.
Very, very true.
You would just be a little bit dumber of a genius than you were.
Oh, see, now I'm feeling a little hurt by that.
We gotta, I can't just jump up to your genius level, so we gotta bring you down a little bit so that I don't have so far to jump. I want to say hi to our good friend and fellow Jedi enthusiast, Mr. Wolverine. Mr. Will is with us tonight. At least tonight he said hi.
That's true. Mostly because I gave him shit about it last week.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
And I'm okay with that. Just saying. So, come on in. Have some fun with us. We're going to get right down to the nitty gritty of the entire episode of The Bad Batch Paths Unknown. That's right, Paths Unknown, where we find Hunter and Wrecker working as mercenaries. Makes sense. They're still doing it, and it is what it is.
Will says, I like the burn, just like the sun.
Oh, see? See? There you go. That makes it work, right?
You're in the right place then, Will. You are in the right place.
I mean, I think, it's good stuff that way. Just
yes, definitely.
Putting it out there. But,
indubitably.
But when it comes down to it, the Hunter and Wrecker are in the middle of working on a job, but they're also trying to find the location of Dr. Hemlock's lab. That's what they're doing the entire time. Crosshair and Omega are currently being held prisoner. And one of their missions brings them to a jungle planet. And it's never a good thing when you have to go to a jungle planet in Star Wars.
No. That has never worked out good for anybody.
And hear me out on why. Kashyyyk is one thing. You have to contend with the Wookiees. They will rip your arms off without any issues. We've seen it happen. We've seen Chewbacca do it. We've seen so many other Wookiees do it. Don't mess with them. Don't mess with them.
I agree.
Because if you do, bad shit's gonna happen. Okay? It's just gonna happen. It's the way it is. Ah, my notes just closed on me. It's one of those days, folks.
Right.
One of those days. All right, let me get back to... There we go. There's my notes. Will says they're hungry little people with a lot of hair and the sun doesn't do it for them. No. They're not little. No. Don't mess with anybody that's over 6 feet tall in Star Wars. I'm just putting it out there. Don't want to do it. Well, in this case, we start everything off on Deveron, planet Deveron, where we see Roland Durand and his mother, Lady Durand, and a lot of military personnel and guards. Lot of them. Of them. And they're in the process of convicting a captain of conspiracy against the family. Again, you don't want to mess with other planetary systems out there because they do things so much differently than the Empire. It's not even funny. But the captain is telling them that, there's a crime syndicate going on, that her command is weak. He's speaking out against her. The whole 9 yards.
Mm.
But then we see Lady Durand, hit a trap door and woo, free falling.
You are dismissed, Captain.
Free falling.
I mean, it is the modern day version of Burns's trapdoors.
Yeah. I mean, really, it's all just a matter of the force field opens up and whoop, Wendy, I could fly.
Right.
Which I'm right.
But for some reason, I'm only going down. I can't go up.
Yeah, I'm falling, and listen, it's not the fall that hurts. It's the sudden landing. Stop at the end.
Yeah, that hurt.
And that's where things kind of get a little sketchy. But after the trapdoor shuts, we see Hunter and Wrecker walk in, and they've got a pike that's being held captive. And we've seen the Pikes before. We've seen them in Clone Wars. We've seen them in Rebels. And we've also seen them in The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. So we know the Pikes are out there. They're one of the biggest crime syndicates out there in the Star Wars galaxy, which, you know, we still don't know where they are, but it is what it is. And Lady Durand says to those that were brave to enter her court, and credits her son for convincing them to come in.
Well, she said it was brave of you to demand a face-to-face meeting with me.
Yeah.
It's like, boy, you got balls to demand coming and coming to see me.
But see, that's the one thing about the clones. They don't care.
Right?
They don't care at all. They don't. And I love that Hunter just takes out Roland's severed horn and throws it at them. And says,
tosses it to him. Here you go.
Right. And says that, explains that they captured the Pike who disgraced the Durand family. Here he is. And right. Wrecker's right there, gruff Wrecker. All right, prisoners all yours. Throws them. But at the same time, Hunter also reassures them that the capture won't be traced back to them. They'll have nothing to do with it. It's, it's clean. It's good to go. And Lady Durand orders her guards to drag the prisoner to the dungeons. Makes sense. Why not? And at the same time, while he's getting dragged away, he's like, we're good. We're done. Quarrel's over.
Yet.
Won't attack you
over
anymore.
Yet, bitch.
We're good. We're good. Just spare me. Because that's really what he was basically doing. Hey, our quarrel with the Pike Syndicate, we're good with you guys. We're good. We don't want to mess with you anymore. We're done. Leave. Let me go. Nope. Off to jail with you. Off to jail. Listen, it's better for him to go to jail than fall down that pit.
Yeah, but something tells me he's going to end up facing something similar.
Well, maybe.
Just that sneaky little feeling.
Maybe. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but at the same time, both Hunter and Wrecker were doing this job for a reason, because they needed information on Dr. Hemlock's lab. They wanted to know where it was. And, in this story, this long-term story, this is, you scratch my back, I'm going to scratch yours. So they're going to do things in order to get the information that they want, because their goal is to get Omega. Not Crosshair, Omega. Which, again, also brings me to the point, I really don't know if Tech is actually dead or not, but it's on the shelf.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It's on the shelf for now. So
it makes you wonder, though.
Yeah, and even Lady Durand was saying to them, like, listen, you guys must be really desperate if you're messing with the Pikes.
Right.
Because, again, the Pikes are one of the biggest crime syndicates out there. They're the biggest spice runners out there. You don't want to mess with them, because then Cad Bane will show up and you'll be fighting him, which I have a feeling eventually that's going to happen. I mean, this is before Cad Bane dies in the Book of Boba Fett, if he actually died. I don't think he did. That's a different story for another day. But that's beside the point, okay? People don't stay dead.
Right.
Unless you're Darth Vader that, died and got burned. The Emperor's got cloned multiple times. But anyway. And so Hunter explains that Hemlock stole, someone. Wouldn't say who. Makes perfect sense. You don't want to give that information, because if they find out, well, now they're going to be like, hey, just so you know, I know where that Bad Batch of yours is. And you don't want that. Because if you get that, things are going to happen.
Right.
Things are going to happen. And
not good things.
Yeah. And that's when they bring up, listen, we know you have connections to the Empire. We know you have information pertaining to the old Imperial base or an outpost somewhere. Just give us what we want and we'll be on our way.
Right.
Makes sense. Don't beat around the bush. Give me the info and we're good. And obviously, because Hunter and Wrecker upheld their part of the bargain, she said that she would hold her side of the bargain too. And she activates a bridge for her son Roland to speak with the clones. And says that Hemlock's location is heavily guarded by the Galactic Empire, which we know. We've seen it in the previous episode. However, there are coordinates linked to the lab. Ha-ha. A clue. Which is better than what they've got right now, because right now they've got nothing.
Right.
So they give them a chip and go to these coordinates. This is where you'll get some more information on being able to find that lab. And Roland, the good boy that he is, listens to Mommy and even says, good luck. We hope you find your friend. Good luck.
Yes.
And that's when the adventure really begins. What would you say? That was what, the first 5 minutes of the episode? Maybe.
Yeah, first 8.
Yeah, like me, 8, 10 would be pushing it, but yeah, I would say that this was, at least the first half of, not even half, but very crucial.
Yeah. The first third.
Yeah,
first third.
Very crucial to the story at hand. Very, very crucial, because this is where we go from Deveron to this jungle planet. I don't remember if they said what planet they were going to.
I don't think they did.
But while they're in hyperspace, Yep. Anybody watching that wants to clip it, by all means, please.
Right. If not, Sully will go back and get it on his own.
Yeah, I'll get it. Wrecker's...
You are a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Wrecker is telling Hunter that Echo and Rex are, it's going to take them at least 2 rotations to meet them at the coordinates. And I don't know if we've actually ever established a timeline as to what rotations are in Star Wars.
Basically, an actual time amount, no, but we know it's, basically it's a day, I would think. One rotation would be one rotation of the sun. That would, to me, that would make sense. I would say a rotation is 24 hours.
Yeah, so...
that would be my guess anyway.
So all I did, I just did a little...
Take them 48 hours to get there.
Yeah, I did a little Google search, and yeah, that's pretty much what it would be. Essentially a day. And they don't really have time measurements in Star Wars. Right. It's just a rotation. Which, again, depending on where they are, your rotation could be 24 hours. It could be 48 hours. It could be, 16 hours is your day. It really all depends on the planet that you are in, or just assuming that, oh, by the way, a rotation is a rotation and there's nothing else to it.
Right.
It's just whatever it is, and that's that. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with understanding that that's where we are in the process. Okay?
Right.
So
I would agree with that.
So from there, while they're talking about this, Hunter is way in a hurry. Hunter's like, listen, we got to find this stuff. The longer it takes us, the longer it's going to be that she slips out of our fingers. And Wrecker's like, the last time we did this, we didn't have
Not
backup.
everybody came home.
Yeah, we didn't have backup. And Tech paid the price for it.
Yeah. He didn't put it in those words, but the way he said it made the point across.
Yeah. And that's really just where Hunter is becoming that father figure.
Right.
He's becoming that father to Omega, where he as a clone and a character is growing to that point of, listen, I don't really want to keep doing this every day. I want to be able to not do this, not be on the run. I want to be able to just chill,
Well, and just before Omega was captured, they had talked about, we're going to go somewhere where nobody knows us, and we're going to start over.
Yep.
We're going to start learning how to be humans, not soldiers, and lead a regular life where we're not on the run and fighting all the time.
Right. Exactly. And
then the shit hit the fan,
and all hell
where we are now.
And they're doing what they're doing, which it happens. There's nothing you can really do about it because, well, it's just going to happen the way it's going to happen. And for them, they're just basically going with the flow and going with what they know. So they finally get to this jungle planet, and it's called Cetron. Now, Cetron in Star Wars, I would say, is very similar to Endor and Tatooine.
What was the planet that Yoda trained Luke on?
Dagobah.
I would lean it more towards that because it's dense jungle, very thick, very dense jungle.
Yeah, but that's where the Endor comes in too. So it's a combination of the two of them, hands down, because it's not foggy, it's not swamp, it's jungle. It's jungle, it's wood, it's water, it's stone. It's got everything that you need. And the one thing that they noticed about this was there were people on this planet. As they're walking through,
realized they were being followed.
Yeah. But Hunter also says that make sure that to let them know, hey, listen, scanners aren't working. Whatever's here is messing with us, which makes sense.
Right.
Perfect sense. And what was it? Wrecker said it. The planet smelled like a Jotaz, I want to say.
I can't remember.
Now, a Jotaz, for those who don't know, is a big, fat, like, I don't want to say goblin.
Okay.
Because it's really, I mean, it's huge. It's not your small type of alien species, It's I mean, they are predators. They are mean. They will rip you limb from limb. They'll do whatever they need to. But on their face, it looks like they also have like the tentacles of a squid, one on each side, that kind of makes like a mustache. I'm trying to find a really good picture of it to show everybody here. And I think I found one. Yay to me finding one. Let's see. Let me do this and this. Nope, it didn't do what I wanted it to do. Didn't do it. JT, it didn't do what I wanted it to do.
Hey, that's your computer. You got to deal with that.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy, I tell you.
Smack it upside the hard drive and tell it to cooperate.
That's later. That's later. Later.
Okay.
Later.
Yeah, I go to, the last thing.
There we go.
Like instantly.
There it is. Cutting and paste, my man. Yeah, listen, that's basically what I was doing, but it wasn't working out the way I wanted it to. So that is right there is a Jotaz. Look at the size of that thing. This is massive. Kind of looks like one of those blubber butts from Doom. The big fat guys with the chain guns on each arm.
I'm still waiting for the picture to come up. So.
Oh, well.
I think I need to refresh my screen because I have a big delay.
That's a big delay.
There we go. Okay.
There you go. I'll put it on your face now.
There we go.
So that's the Jotaz. And
that is an ugly son of a bitch.
Right? Makes the Rancor look like a bachelor. And Rancors are big and nesty.
Makes the Rancor look like a newborn baby.
Right? It certainly does something, that's for sure. So yeah, that's the Jotaz. Will says that similarities between both parties. You both have similarity to this picture. The nerve. Kick your ass, man.
Hey, at least we only have similarities instead of looking like what comes out of his butt after it's done eating somebody.
True. Very true. You know what, JT? I will.
Will you ask for that one?
I will give you that one. That is a good one. JT nailed it.
You asked for that one, buddy.
Real life. Hey, listen.
Sorry, Will. I couldn't have stopped that one if I'd been in the hospital.
Sure, you could have. But anyway.
Love you, man. Love you, brother.
Anywho, that's what happens when we're having fun. That's for sure. So, right. That's basically what that says the planet smells like. And while they're there, they're following the coordinates, and it shows that the reason that their scanners are not working is because the Empire is actually jamming them, and it's coming from a signal on the planet. Because Hemlock originally had a lab right there on the planet. But they destroyed it from orbital bombardment. And boy, was it destroyed. Whew.
Yeah, so they had good practice when they took down God damn it.
I mean, practice makes perfect if you ask me.
Why can I not remember names?
I don't know.
The water planet. The one that they just destroyed the city in.
Camino,
thank you.
You're welcome.
I would say I'd start writing this shit down, but I don't know how to spell it.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
All right, then. You should start learning how to spell this stuff.
So they had good practice with Camino, and then right. They had good practice on Camino, and then they took what they learned there and built on it, and just totally wiped out this lab. Totally,
yeah. That done went under fire. Under fire. Well,
words in front of words.
while that's all, they're scanning and they're taking a look and everything, Wrecker asks if Omega was here. And Hunter says, well, according to what we were given, the intelligence could be wrong.
Yeah.
But
well, and so that's just it. They have to go and verify. They need to find out if she was or not.
And for them, the only way to do that is to go to the ruins.
Go down to it.
Go down to the ruins, and that's when Hunter senses that they're not alone. And they run into two clones named Deke and Stack. Younger brothers.
Very, very young chitlins.
Yeah. And obviously, because they're clones, they were a part of the prisoner program, but they escaped. Which was great. Deke and Stack.
Mm-hmm.
They were not armed with guns, but they were armed with improvised weapons.
Which you got to give them credit for.
Absolutely. And the cadets are like, hey, who you?
Who you?
Who you?
Who you?
What you doing here? And why are you here on my planet? And Hunter and Wrecker...
They actually accused them of being Empire.
That's true. They were in Stormtrooper
Well, they're in...
gear.
Yeah, but like Hunter said, do we look... like we work for the Empire?
Will says, I got my beat stick.
I got my beat stick. Yeah, exactly.
Not wrong. Not wrong at all. But when they, reveal themselves as clones, one of them goes, wait a minute. You're from Clone Force 99. You're one of those defective clones.
Effective and effective.
Yeah. And that's when Hunter, starts explaining, asking, what are they doing here? Why are you guys all by yourself? Were there any other survivors? How many are you? Like, drilling them. And...
yeah. But doing it in a nice way at the same time.
Yeah. And that's when Hunter goes, listen, we're looking for a clone. We're looking for Omega.
Mm-hmm.
Is the lab still here? Is there anything that we can possibly use from that? And
have you seen her?
Have you seen her? Like the whole 9 yards. And that's when they bring up Mox, who's another clone.
Mm-hmm. And
the two of them kind of argue back and forth that Mox isn't going to help. But,
right.
They're clones. They're brothers. What do you expect? One's going to say, hey, no, he's not going to help. No, he'll help. He's fine. We got this. But that's when they say, as they're going, listen, hey, let's bring you to Mox. Oh, by the way, don't touch the vines. Even
not very clear in that.
No, that was clear as day. Yeah. Don't touch the vines.
But when you look at it, there's green vines, there's brown vines, there's gray vines.
Yes.
What vine are you talking about?
All of them.
which does come into play.
Yeah. It really does. And it's interesting.
Very specifically, and I'll explain what I mean when I say that here in just a minute when we get to that point.
Yeah. So they go into it as slither vines. Don't touch them.
Well, they eventually identify them as that.
Yes. Now, for those that haven't watched the episode, shame on you, because you should have watched it by now. New episode comes out on Wednesday, by the way. But at the same time, I think it was Deke. Maybe, I'm pretty sure it was Deke. Deke starts explaining that the Empire transferred them from Kamino to this planet. And the reason they were doing that is for testing. They're looking for something. So they
Right.
know what's going on. They don't know to the extent of how bad it is, but he does mention that they were extracting blood samples from everybody.
Right. And the one thing that Deke was very specific about was, we were brought here as soldiers,
Yes.
but when we got here, we were prisoners.
Yes.
So there was that transition from being soldiers in training to being prisoners and lab rats, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was a complete role reversal for them. So while they were doing that, they also mentioned that after a while, with all the testing that they were doing, the Empire decided to destroy the lab, and they didn't care who was around. So this just goes to show this is exactly what happened on Kamino. They destroyed whatever they could think of, tying themselves to the cloning project, which we already know is out there because that's where they're from. That city is gone. They did exactly the same thing to this lab.
Yep.
Because
They took the mission vital people and resources and everything and orbital bomb the hell out of it.
And they just went with it. Which...
Assholes.
Just to say assholes?
Yeah. I mean, what's the matter? You can't get up close and personal?
You're not wrong.
You're
not wrong. Yeah. But they also go into how they were surviving in the jungle all this time, and that they've gone back and forth from the lab. They got supplies. They did whatever they needed to do. But even for them, their supplies are starting to run low. And they even mention that. There's nothing left in the lab. Nothing.
Yeah, they're scrounging everything they can.
And that's when Wrecker accidentally touches a slither vine. Poor Wrecker.
See, here's why I was specific about vine colors.
Yep.
Okay? Because the kid's walking in front of Wrecker, right? As the kid walks through, he pushes a green vine out of the way like it's no big deal. He just pushes it off to the side. Wrecker comes through and pushes a gray vine.
Right.
The gray vine are the slither vines, as which they explain here after the crazy ass battle goes on. But that's why I brought up the vine colors, because they were walking on brown vines. They were stepping on those, which were just roots from trees and stuff like that. They were pushing green vines out of the way, but the kid avoided the gray vine, whereas Wrecker didn't know. Oh, that's the kind of vine I'm supposed to avoid.
Yeah.
So,
whoopsie, my bad.
I go 50-50. I go 50-50 on it's partly Wrecker's fault, but it's partly the kid's fault too, because they weren't specific.
But I mean, come on. Listen, I'm just going to be the devil's advocate here and say, when the kid says don't touch the vines, just don't touch any of them. Don't touch it. Don't look at it. Just walk away and keep on going.
I got what you're saying, but like I said, when this happened, he touched the green vine first.
Yes.
And kept walking. He pushed the vine out of the way, so Wrecker pushed that vine out of the way.
Yep.
Hell broke loose.
Yeah. And once they free themselves of the slither vines, Wrecker asks about them, and one of them goes, well, this is what they're doing. These are genetically altered vines that the Empire created as a weapon. And it just went out of control. And here we are. The best way to destroy it was to destroy the lab and everything else. But
imagine that it didn't work.
Right. It didn't work. I think, to be honest, it just made it worse. Kind of like having that catalyst. If you light a match and you throw it, it's just going to spread. Same thing.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Same thing. So when they destroyed the facility, with the bombardment, obviously they got out. They just needed to get out and do whatever they need to. So from there, they find shelter for the night, and that's when they meet Mox. Will,
there you go, Will.
Will says, burn the whole nest down for the yellow jackets, but the yellow jackets will still come at you. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You never kill them all unless you catch them at night.
And honestly, it's the hornets you got to worry about. Those motherfuckers are...
Yes,
hornets and wasps. Oof. But while they're there and they meet Mox, Mox is a little, wait a minute, we got defective clones here? What the hell? What's going on? What are you doing here? I don't want you here. I don't trust you. You're not my crew. I don't trust you. And Hunter explains to them what they're doing. What they're doing. Why they're looking for Omega. They want to know if she was here. She was taken by Hemlock, just like you guys were. And Mox says that he's not seen a female clone. But I do recognize Hemlock. He runs the show, which we know he runs the show. He's a freaking douche. I'm waiting for him to get his comeuppance, to be honest. And I'm also like, they need to do a movie with the Bad Batch. Oh. And I mean like a live action movie. They need a live action movie of the Bad Batch. I think it'd be great. But while they're there, he explains why the Empire abandoned the facility and all the cadets, got out and whatnot. And then Mox added that the clone troopers abandoned them, which ties into what we've been seeing, where clone troopers were very loyal to the Empire at first.
Yep. And
throughout time, they slowly started drifting away, and that's when they became the stormtroopers. And that is true. Because the clone troopers finally went, why are we doing this? Why are we killing our brothers and tormenting them and doing whatever? They're us, they're family.
Yep.
And that's when Hunter says, listen, you help us. We're going to help you. We'll get you off of here. We'll get you someplace safe. Everything will be fine. It'll be different, but it'll be fine. We just need to get the intelligence from this base. Will you help us? And Mox is still like, nah.
Nah, no, hell no, I ain't going down there. That's a death mission.
It's a one-way trip to hell on earth.
Pretty much.
And to me, I would say, yep, you know what? I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. Yes, that is a one-way trip to hell on earth.
Right.
But, and I stress the but, I got to find out. I got to know what's what. Got to figure out what happened on the last scout to the control room. We need to see where this message is coming from, or this signal. We need to get to this because this is going to help us.
And because the kid said that there was one panel.
Yes.
That was still good.
Still good.
That they found on their last time in there.
And he tried to send out a signal like, "Hey, we're here. Come save us." But couldn't
because he did not have power.
Right. And
not a problem.
When Hunter asks the kid if, he'll take him there, and Mox is like, "You go. Just so you know, the base is toxic. You're going to die."
Yeah. Basically, you go, you ain't coming back.
Yeah. And that's when he says, "You guys are on your own." That's it. So Deke says that he'll help. He'll volunteer. He'll do what he needs to do. Mox says, "Hey, it's danger. Don't do it. Dangerous."
I like what the third kid said when they left.
Yeah.
I thought he was the smart one. He said that and I busted out laughing. I'm like, oh, shit.
That was a great line, to be honest.
That was a great line, perfect timing. You know, it'd been pretty intense to that point. You needed something to kind of, break it up a little bit.
Yeah, you needed that little comedic element, and I like those subtle comedic elements,
Mm-hmm. It's great.
And that's okay. Because now, while they're going into the base, now they're trying to find the source of what's going on. They're trying to get to the control room. And that's when Deke is telling Hunter and Wrecker, listen, when we get you inside, I can show you where it is, but there's no power. There's no power. We can't do anything. And that's when Wrecker says, well, we have power.
We got that covered.
Yeah, we've got it on the ship. We can do what we need to do in order to get that information. And that's when Deke starts questioning about Omega, starts asking questions. And that to them, from their standpoint,
mm-hmm.
the Empire is long gone. You should quit. And Hunter, no. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up on her. She is one of us. She's family.
Yep.
We will get her. And even though we're defective, I'm loyal to her, and she's loyal to me.
Yep. She's part of the team.
She's part of the team.
You don't give up until you don't give up, and even after there's nothing else that you can do, you still don't give up.
Right, and that's where the difference comes into play.
Yeah. And I mean, even the kids said it. I wish our other brother clones had felt that way.
Yeah. And even Deke was saying, while they were going to the ship to get that power nodule that they needed, Deke mentions that, hey, you guys have seen some things.
Yeah, especially when he got to the ship.
Oh, the dents, the scorch marks, like, whoa, what happened? Stack always wanted to fly one.
Mm-hmm. So what is he said? I always thought that I would fly one of these on a mission.
Yeah. So what they do at the ship is they grab Gonky. Poor Gonky. He just gets manhandled by Wrecker all the time.
Well, then Wrecker carries him upside down.
Yeah, well, there's a reason, because he doesn't want to get kicked. So I can understand that. So he grabs Gonky, and Deke is putting on a breathing mask, and they start going past all the vines and in the trees to this destroyed lab. And while that's happening, Deke is grabbed by a vine. But the two free him. And that's when they see that it wasn't just a vine. It was a three-legged creature. So now the vines have actually evolved.
Right.
They kill one, the other one goes scurrying off doing what it needs to do. And that, while I was watching it, I'm saying to myself, there's going to be something bigger here. It's more than just the vines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then they hear the noise coming from the caverns of the place.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not good.
No. So while that's all happening, Stack says to Mox, hey, why don't we steal the ship? Let's leave them.
They're not coming back.
They're not coming back. They're going to die. But Mox also said that we're no better than the people that left us. So at least we know Mox has his head on straight. Because Stack was willing to leave Deke with the others. Steal the ship and go. Makes you wonder. You know? Hey, let's just get out of here. While Stack also thinks that they won't survive. because of the slither vines. And he doesn't want to wait. He doesn't want them to, he doesn't want to find out. He doesn't want to find out what happens to Deke. Doesn't want to know what happens to Hunter and Wrecker. He just wants to go. They're not going to survive.
Which is understandable.
Yeah. Yeah. And from there, Mox asks, well, where's their ship?
Where's the northern quadrant?
Yes, the northern quadrant. Notice how they always sound very sophisticated when they talk like that? It's up in the northern quadrant of the forest, sir.
Well, I mean, that's the way they're trained. That's the way they're brought up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's up in the northern ridge. The northern ridge is where it is. Well.
Take me to it.
Now we've get the... Well, north is always the way to go. It really is. It's never the western hemisphere or the western part of the woods. It's always the northern. The north.
Every now and then you get a southern,
Yeah. Well, while that's all happening, Hunter, Wrecker, and Deke locate the console in a swamp. Only this swamp, originally they thought was just going to be water, but no.
There's something alive in that clear water.
And they need to be very careful because they do see the vines moving down. They also see the three-legged things running around and all that good stuff. But that's when things get creepy. Because after they attach Gonky to the machine and they get what they need to, they power up the console. Now they're hearing noises. Noises that will scare the bejesus out of you.
The hackles went up on the back of my neck.
like to the point where the arm hair just like, oh, goosebumps. No, you don't want that.
I tensed up. I realized, without realizing it, I tensed up. I was gripping the arms of the chair, really tight and everything. It's like, oh shit, it's just a show.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a show to see what's happening next. Well, they encounter something big. Something really big.
The only way that I could describe it
tentacles with a mouth
would be a sandworm with tentacles.
See, you were going for sandworm. I was going for a sarlacc.
That too. I mean, really either one would work.
I thought it was a sarlacc.
A sarlacc with octopus tentacles or a sandworm with octopus tentacles. Yeah. I wouldn't want to face either one of them.
Yeah, no, because the sarlacc
especially since they come out of the water.
Yeah.
At least if it's coming out of the sand, you see the sand move a little bit.
Yep.
You don't see it coming out of the water till it breaks the surface.
Oh yeah. Well, what I love about this is now we're seeing them trying to escape this thing, and we also see Stack and Mox trying to steal the Marauder, and they do manage to unlock it. They get it up in the air. Stack thinks he can fly it, and he says, "Well, duh, I was top of my class. Hello." You weren't. Duh. So when Mox says, hey, when are we going to go? And Stack goes, well, we can go anywhere but Centron, which is where they are now. And
anywhere but here.
That's when he notices the DC-17, but he also notices the Tuca doll that Omega has. That was Wrecker's.
Yep.
And that's when they get the distress call from Deke on the comlink.
We need help. We need help.
We need help. We got to do it.
We need help.
So,
sorry, that's my laser.
Pew pew.
Pew 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 pew.
So the gang has already gotten the data from the console, and
that they could.
As much as they could, they got what they needed, and now they're taking Gonki and they're trying to escape. The mutated vines are all over them. They're trying to get to them. They're climbing structures. Deke falls. Hunter gets him. It's chaos, absolute chaos, and.
Yeah. And it just so happens that they get into an area where the roof above them is gone.
Yes. And
very convenient.
And below them, oh boy.
Yeah. Open sky, open mouth. Yeah, I'd rather go that way.
Yes. And what I really loved about this scene was, now you have, with the roof open, the Marauder shows up. They send down the tow cables so they can hook themselves up and get up onto it. And they get up there, and then the slithering vines
start grabbing the ship.
Yes, start grabbing the ship.
So it's an intelligent creature. It's not just some mindless creature that goes off vibrations or something like that.
Yeah.
It's an intelligent creature that says, hey, this thing up here is going to take away our food.
Yes.
So let's grab it.
Yes.
That's pretty freaking smart for a slithering vine.
Yes.
Now, if you think about it.
Once they're getting up and doing what they need to, the thing that's trying to get them reveals itself.
Yeah.
And according to what I found online, according to what I was able to research, it is official that it is a mutated variant of a Sarlacc.
Oh, no surprise.
Hence the testing. And we all know Sarlaccs. They're
Well, I mean, you think about it. You couldn't control a Sarlacc to start with.
Yeah, no.
So what makes you think you're going to be able to keep one in captivity, mutate it, make it stronger, make it worse than it was in the first place, and you still think that you can control it?
Well,
because that's why they left the base, because they lost control of their experiment.
Yeah. So,
dumbass Empire, come on.
What also happens is Wrecker decides to throw a thermal detonator, and then tells the other cadets to do the same thing, only with more.
Grab the box of explosives, were his exact words.
Yeah. So they drop the box with some thermal detonators already powered up and ready to go inside the container, and they chuck it. And this Sarlacc eats it, and then it implodes.
I love the moment of tension, though.
It was very slow.
They push the box over with the explosives, but one of the kids has one, still hold on to one.
Yeah.
It goes down, he activates it and drops it down. But you had to have the moment of tension.
Right.
Where it was bouncing around off of the teeth.
Yes.
As it was going down. It's like, is it going to get there in time?
Yeah.
And of course, it does, just barely.
It does. It was,
but you had that moment of tension.
It was that tension from zero, counting from 5 down to 0, and it's that last second that you needed.
You're sitting there going, is it going to make it? Is it going to make it? Is it going to make it? Yeah.
From there, obviously they get out. The vines died out. They get off the planet. They go into hyperspace, and Hunter's going over the data while Wrecker is playing with the cadets. And Gonki is just sitting there like, what did you do to me this time and why? Well, from that information, they learn that the base is in a different sector. And also vows to find Omega. And Hunter tells the cadets that they're going to drop them off on the peaceful island of Pabu, which is where they're based. That's where they're living now. No one will find you there. They're good people. They will take care of you, and they will do what they need to do. And Mox questions Hunter with, what's the purpose without being in an army? And Hunter says the coolest thing. I loved what he said here.
Yep.
Flat out said, it's time for you to figure your lives out.
Right.
Make your own paths other than being soldiers. Enjoy life. Live it. And then he says, our mission is not done.
Yep. I love how Wrecker put his arm around him when he said that too.
Yeah. Our mission is not done. We still have work to do. And that is when the camera shows Omega's Tuca doll and cuts to black.
He gives him the military, friends.
Ah, yes, the handshake. You got to do that handshake. Yes. So that's the end of the episode. Now we do have to hurry this up, so we do have to, get things done. So JT, what is your rating for this week's
great episode? I love the introduction of the slither vines and the mutated Sarlacc and everything else.
Yep.
It was a different kind of episode of what we're used to.
Yes.
With Bad Batch.
Very.
I mean, totally off in left field. I love that. I'm going for.
Going for it. Nice. I like it. I absolutely like it. I loved seeing that we saw Sarlacc in a different area other than Tatooine, which was amazing. The story was fantastic. I love that they found survival clone children that were not aging the way they normally would. So I'm going to give mine a four also. Mine was a 4. Four helmets for the Bad
Will's
Batch.
Giving it a 4.3.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I love
it's a good episode. And I will admit, I've seen episode 3.
Yep.
And
episode 3 is going to be a good one. That's for sure. Do we know what Lady Death was giving this episode?
I think she didn't tell me exactly, but I think she would probably give this a 4.
Okay. Well, we will double check with her next week on that one. We'll start the show with her rating. And Will says it worked. Yeah, it worked. It worked very, very well. It really did.
It was nice to have something outside the norm.
Yes.
I mean, the norm was still there, but just this did the what a twist thing.
What the twist
in this episode, which was real the M. Night Shyamalan. There we go. I remembered the name.
What the twist?
Which was really cool. It had a nice twist to it. It was refreshing.
Yes, very refreshing.
Which may sound weird, but it was refreshing with everything going on before.
And it still kept up with Dave Filoni going, no. What we make is Star Wars. Legends are canon. And that's what I love about it. So, my friends, that was this week's episode of 2 Ewoks in the Park. We will be live tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern for the Sully Show, so make sure you tune in tomorrow. It's going to be fun. We got a great show planned. Prep sheet's already done. I think I just have to add a couple of articles, but yeah, we're getting there. And
quick teaser.
Yep.
You got 2 different world record stories for you, but one is just in the regular stories. The actual world record story is 2 parts.
Oh boy, that's going to be interesting to say the least.
It's the original and an update.
Ooh, well, we love that stuff, that's for sure. So, for JT the Redneck, I am the Geek Sully, and thank you all for tuning in to 2 Ewoks in the Park. We will see you next week at 8 p.m. Eastern on Monday for episode 3 of The Bad Batch, and stick around tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, for the Sully Show. Have a great night, everybody, and we will see you then. Goodbye, farewell, and auf Wiedersehen.
Stay strong.